Okay, there we go, we're live.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to another About That Goat stream.
It's a telenovela about girls, games,
Goats?
goats, struggles, indie games, games made by indies, and also games made by girls and girls made by games. I don't know. I should stop.
Yeah. So last time, what did we talk about last time?
First and foremost, you are Anna.
Yes, that's
I am
okay,
Laura.
That's Laura.
This is Valiant. What you're watching here is Pendulum Swing. It's one of our
Yay, it's our
Game.
one of our games.
almost said girl or goat, I don't know. What else? Yeah.
If you have any questions, please ask them on Discord. We are trying to keep an eye on all chats, but since we're streaming both on YouTube and on Steam, it's a little bit hard to keep up with all the chats. So please go to Discord and what's it called? The channel in the server. Here, ask us anything. And ask us anything.
Preferably about, games, girls, or goats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Preferably games, actually. I think that's
That would be preferable. Yeah.
our expertise.
So about that goat.
Yeah. About the goats. That's what we talked about last time.
Yes. So what happened last time?
We were playing Kaleidocraft and making goats, but I think what we talked about most is sort of like the struggle of being in the dev and like finding our voice, sort of. Yeah, I mean, if you want to catch up with what we talked about last time, you can do that on YouTube. But yeah, do you have anything to add about last time?
So I think last time it was like the pilot episode of the telenovela called About That Goat. And we tried to explain why are we talking about goats? Like, this is like, okay, suddenly, we are some sane game developers, sanely making sane games, or, as sane as possible. And suddenly we start talking about goats. And we explained, I think we managed to explain, I guess, that the goat is actually our voice that we didn't quite find yet. And I think in that explanation somehow the goat is also you, I think.
Like how to find a way to make people excited about things that we're excited about. Like, we hope that we are making things that are at least okay, and we want to find a way to sort of share that with the world and like present that in a way that makes people as excited as we are about this. So that's our goal.
And the love child between us and our goat, which may be you. We say they're our games. And so far we have a bunch of games on Steam and a game not on Steam. And the games that we do have on Steam are Pendulum Swing, which is a premium
This game you see right here.
point and click adventure game that we are going to play and talk about now.
I'm just gonna let it roll in the background.
Then we also have a game on Steam in early access called Kaleidocraft, and that's the game we usually use to draw goats and other things, like, for example, totally accurate midsummer celebration depictions with skulls and blood and stuff like that. It's very, very accurate because we are both in Sweden and we do that. We also sometimes draw very creepy French dudes. We don't know why, it just happens. And then we also have a game called Midwinter. Maybe you want to say a little bit about Midwinter?
Sure. It's a small point-and-click game basically about Swedish folklore, which I made before Valiant actually existed, so when I was still a solo indie, but now we as Valiant have sort of taken over it and are now publishing it. In it you play as a small gnome on a farm who has to defend his family from the troll who wants to take the child of the family and make it a changeling.
And the game that is not on Steam just yet, but it might be, we don't know yet, is this game. It's a board game, and it's called Zestra, and it's a marriage negotiation game, where you negotiate weddings and survive hard times. And this game, we actually work with a team based in Romania. We published this game. And last year we had a Kickstarter campaign for it. It was our very first Kickstarter ever, and we gathered 220% of our initial funds,
which is really cool.
And this is where the money went. So this is a printed copy from the very first print batch of Zestra, which just arrived in Sweden and in Denmark and in Romania and in Germany. Check it out on our website.
We're super thankful for everyone who supported the Kickstarter and has pre-ordered and everything. So thank you for your support. It really means a lot. And thank you to everyone who's been playing our games.
Regardless if they're digital or not digital.
Exactly.
And if you're watching this and you know a little bit about Zestra, tomorrow the Kickstarter campaign will get more Zestra news and updates about shipping and stuff. But Pendula Swing. What is Pendula Swing?
Pendula Swing is an adventure game set in a fantasy version of the American Roaring '20s. So you play as this old hero, Brialyn, who has already saved the world. So here you start in your old house, in your bedroom. You just put on this dress that's actually 1920s, but otherwise as you can see, you're sort of surrounded by the memories of your past glory days when you went out with your adventuring party and saved the world. But the time has, the world has changed around you, as it tends to do. And you will soon find in the story here a reason to sort of engage with the world again. And it has changed quite a lot since when you were a hero. So it's really about talking to people, listening to their struggles, to solve mysteries, and just help people out and see their part of the story, basically. You can talk to cats, for example. This cat here, she's not really a cat, she's actually an elf who has been transmorphed into a cat. So she, you met her during your travels, and your now past wife accidentally turned her into a cat. And she never turned her back again before she died. So now poor Katya here is forever transmorphed into a cat. Sounds okay though. I mean, you look good as a cat, Maybe would.
I am not Katya.
No, you're.
But if you feel like cosplaying as Katya, I think it's a wonderful idea. So Pendula Swing is a game made by Anna and an artist that we worked with who is very, very talented, Eva.
And you.
And me. And so it's a very relaxing, non-violent adventure game that Anna fully wrote. And the thing with this game is we calculated that it has a gameplay of about 1 hour if you just want to follow the storyline. But the gist of this game is precisely not the storyline, and there's a bunch of things that are quite unique with this game, for which we love it quite a lot. And I'd like to list those games. But if you get into this world, and if you like the story told and the world building and the careful attention to the details and a 1920s take with fantasy tropes and stories that are very much inspired by the actual 1920s history, which become quite relevant nowadays as well.
History tends to repeat itself, unfortunately.
And by the way, Anna is a history geek. So if you want to know all about history, and I think history has a lot of interesting stories that we need to know. And
Definitely.
Anna is a very, very good storyteller who is inspired by a lot of actual history in pretty much everything that you get to experience in Pendula Swing. Am I right?
Thank you for those kind words.
Or like, don't even start her with, for example, what is an accurate armor?
Yeah, I'm actually considering starting a YouTube channel about that.
And
yeah, don't get me started.
She definitely doesn't have real armors made by her, which are
No,
historically
I would
not
never.
at all. Yeah, I would check her Twitter account just. But anyhow, so Pendula Swing is narrative, 1910 20s fantasy take. It's about 7 hours, between 7 to 10 hours to discover all the stories of the characters. We have about how many unique characters?
3 to 400. I can't remember exactly, but up towards 400. I seem to remember. Yeah.
Some of those characters. So this world to begin with is populated by dwarves such as Brialine, elves and humans. Your classical. And then you also have the goblins and orcs, who Brialine used to fight with. So I don't want to do spoilers. So you'll get to talk to a lot of elves and dwarves and goblins and humans and what did I forget? But you also talk to critters.
Yeah. For example, this one, which is probably the cutest character in this entire game. Our little hedgehog. Of course, our logo is hedgehog, so.
Hedgehogs are very, very important, but like I just realized Pendula Swing is missing something very important.
What is that?
Goat.
Yeah, we hadn't found the goat yet.
Yeah,
In this game.
it is true. So I want to say what I think is unique about this game, then it's your take.
Okay.
And then the point of this episode about the goat is to talk about fun, which is why I think it's very important to start with. To me, it's important to start with the idea of uniqueness, what I love about this game, and then we can debate a little bit on whether this is fun or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I love about this game is, first and foremost, I love the protagonist. Because in most adventure games, you play as the sexy young lady warrior or the very sexy male warrior who is very warriorly, wearing everything with his or her axe or weapon of choice. In this game, Brialine is actually an old lady, and she is actually the most badass hero this world has ever seen. So she's like the Michael Jackson. Sorry, or I tell you, the most famous artist, Michael Jackson combined with Botticelli, combined with Mozart, combined with.
I think in our release stream, at least I made a comparison with Napoleon Bonaparte. Like, imagine if Napoleon Bonaparte was still alive today. That's sort of what Brilliant is, ish. But, yeah.
So she's a badass who has a very, very rich adventure life behind her, and she already lives in a world that everyone knows she's famous. And not only that, she's actually rich. Beep. So in this game, you don't have to, become known and become the rising hero and save the world. You already done that. And you also you don't have to gather money and get better armor and get better weapons and stuff like that, because you literally have everything. And as Brialine, you can choose to play however you wish. Like, you'll encounter a lot of characters who ask for your help and offer to pay you, and you definitely don't need the money. But you can be the greedy adventurer who does get the money. And you'll also have extensive conversations with a lot of characters whom otherwise used to be your enemies. So you talk to goblins, you talk to orcs, and you kind of understand what up with their life, after an entire adventuring years where they were slain and hunted and killed, essentially. Yeah. But everything is conveyed in a very sweet and kind way. And also my favorite part of Pendula Swing is the fact that you can talk to critters, and some of them used to be transmorphed people, others just learn how to talk. And you can just like have many creatures following you, and the best way to deal with critters is to go with like 5 to 7 pets to the speakeasy, as one does. What do you think is unique about this game?
That is such a good question. I mean, from the perspective of fun, whatever that is, I guess we're gonna have to talk about that separately. But I think like something at least that's very intriguing to me personally is like taking a concept that people are very familiar with and sort of like just twisting it. So like taking the genre of RPGs, but then like, yeah, but you have already done all these things, like you said, like you have already gathered all the cool armor, you are already rich, like then what? Or like taking the like medieval fantasy, which I also love, but like what happens after? Because we're so used to certain forms of stories and certain forms of settings and narratives. I'd like to like take that most of us sort of know in our collective cultural experience and like sort of just flip it a little bit. Not like sometimes it's even more effective to do something just like switching something a little bit than doing something completely new. Of course we should also do stuff that's completely new, but sometimes it can make people think when you just subvert tropes or subvert something a little bit. I hope that we sort of, at least that was what I was hoping that we could do with this game. I don't know if that's necessarily fun, but I can at least like, I like when people do this, like it flips something in my mind, like you actually thought about this, like the references you're using, but you do something new with it and it's unique.
Can we go to the library? Can we go to the library?
Yes.
Can we go to the library?
So now we're gonna cheat, no one look. That is something that doesn't exist.
Vanilla Swing is set in a city called
Dumberdon.
Dumberdon. And you yourself, as the grumpy old super famous super rich lady, living on a secluded island. And when you start a game, somebody forces you to go back to the city which you have simply refused to go to since many years. And the city has 6 districts. Yeah, it's the
yes.
plus the island is 7.
Yeah.
And this is one of the. This is the 6th district. It's the academic district.
Mm-hmm. You have to excuse my computer. It's working hard right now. Sorry for interrupting.
And so this one, I really love the academic district because it has this like Hogwarts vibe with a lot of cool students who, like some of them know who Praline is and they're like, oh my god, you're so cool, but some of them are like, yeah, you're old and you're not hip at all. You even get the odd quest with the youngling who wants a sugar mama. But in this library, oh my god, can you go upstairs? Because I want the smelly dwarf.
They're blocking the way.
It's okay.
We would have to finish this main storyline. Or I would have to cheat, but then people would see how to do stuff like that. Maybe...
It's okay. But in this library there's a book that I really like, and it's a book called...
it's up here somewhere, I think. And we should mention that a lot of these books are actually written by our players, which is amazing. We're so thankful that you wanted to contribute some books to us. It's really cool actually to sort of fill this up with stories from you folks, so thank you.
And as a parenthesis, if you do play Pendula Swing and kind of feel inspired by our world and kind of want to write a book, we've got you. We shall publish your book in this wonderful, beautiful library. Mm-hmm. So just let us know.
Yeah, so this is sort of the format of the books that people have submitted to us. So it doesn't have to be long, or shouldn't actually be long, because there's actually no feature for flipping pages. We just want short stories that sort of fit with the setting and the mood of this game. So we haven't published everything that we were sent because we're very careful to send the message that we're looking for, so to speak. So the books should align with that. But as long as like it fits with the world, we will be very, very happy to have your books in there. Okay.
But this is fun. So first of all, I believe that in this library there is a book that to me is very, very fun.
Would that be the dwarf book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry we can't show it. We would have to finish the main storyline. But yeah.
But
I can show another thing that I think is funny, kind of fun out
Is
here.
it the animal meeting?
Oh well, that too, I guess. I was thinking about the running elf, but
Okay, you show the running elf, then we go to see my favorite meeting.
yeah.
So by the way, in this library you've just been, if you sort of...
So that's what I was talking about. It's just a silly thing. It's just an explosion and a running elf who screams, "I hate magic."
Because in this world, by the way, the stuff that just exploded is the Department of Applied Magic.
Yeah. So apparently they do this, and like no one really cares, and that's actually deliberate. So like, what was that explosion? Oh, that was just another explosion here at the Department of Applied Magic. It's not the first time it happened. So people are kind of used to magic messing up all sorts of things.
Because in this world, like it's the 1920s, it's the Industrial Revolution, it's super rapid advancement, and people are starting to kind of... So there is magic in this world. You can actually encounter, for example, a poor magician who you find him doing party tricks, but if you talk to him, you realize that he's actually a very badass necromancer.
So necromancer, yes.
And since you can actually date in this game, and by the way, Valiant is queer, and you can date multiple characters regardless of gender or ability, and some of them are even okay if you prefer to date multiple people. Anyhow, if you don't know that your character is still mourning their wife or not, you can summon her by talking with this super huge necromancer. But anyhow, in this world, it's modern to turn to automobiles and antibiotics, and magic is frowned upon, but it's still studied because it's still useful. However, yeah, that's why the Department of Applied Magic is okay that it explodes every now and then, and it's not nobody cares because it's like they're studying old stuff now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a bit. That's the old stuff that grandma used to do. So, and also like, since we used this game to sort of talk about like how the different races treat each other and so on. Like, since humans and other some of these races, fantasy races, they're not that good at using magic. So like, because humans sort of want to rule the world, basically, they're not very happy with elves using like the fact that elves can use magic so much better than they can. So they want to like promote industry instead, and like electricity and so on, because that puts them on top instead. So
They want to get rich. And actually, compared to what's happening and what did happen in the 1920s, the Industrial Revolution is actually starting. And for example, in this game, we're making a little bit of fun on this. We have featured you can fish, and if you fish around your island, which is not polluted, and there are stories about that too. If you fish there, you can actually catch fish. However, if you fish in the harbor district, for example, or in the city or stuff like that, you tend to notice that you are not catching that many fish anymore. You're catching, tossed away newspapers, junk. I caught a pair of diamond earrings once.
not too bad though.
Yes,
but-
she was mad on him or something. We don't know. But it is like a commentary about that. But what is fun? Is interesting fun?
So, ouch. You're putting me on the spot there. I think fun can be described in so many different ways. I think that there are certainly people that wouldn't think that this game is fun, and I fully acknowledge that. And like, it's a very special beast. I think you have to really enjoy exploring your world and like take the time to enjoy the jokes and like the subversion of tropes and so on. And I definitely see that that's not for everyone. Some people don't more think that games are fun if you do stuff, if like there's mechanics that are fun. So it's a very good question, and fun is such a wide, like it can mean so much. I think you can have fun playing it. Does that make sense? If you are a person who's like this kind of game.
I actually think, so, Anna, are you ready?
Yeah.
I personally think Vanilla Swing is not a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. Because, like, for example, I also love Firewatch. And I don't think Firewatch is a fun game. And I love Going Home. And that one is not that funny. And I love Sea of Solitude. And I love a ton of games, which definitely doesn't make me laugh out loud or have the same exuberant feeling of oh my god, it's so fun. It's definitely not that kind of game. And that's definitely not the kind of game that I want to play. I do not want to play fun games.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, it's the difference between, I guess, both fun games and funny games, but especially, like, we talk about fun all the time for games, but maybe we should talk about engaging or entertaining or whatever. So, like, one of my, like, the games that affected me the most is Bury Me My Love, and that's not a funny or a fun game. Like, it's harrowing to play, but it's so good, and I can recommend it to I wouldn't say anyone because it's not for everyone, but it's great.
So I'm actually very, very curious if you're watching this to have this conversation about what is fun and what games deserve, commercial success and press spotlight, and based on what exactly. Is it the fun that defines it? Is it the mastery of it? Is there space in this world for many types of, play and fun and relaxation? And because like everyone is talking about the apocalypse and the fact that Steam, for example, is getting a couple of hundred games a day published, and a catalog that grows by a couple of hundred games per week, so not per day. And it starts to become a problem that there are too many games out there, and many of you have opinions about this. We have opinions about this. So what is fun? And can fun be defined even so simply? And what it is that you?
I'm drunk.
She's drunk.
But really not drunk. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So what kind of games are you searching for, and what is fun for you?
Yeah. And like a feature that I wish we had time to implement in this game is that I would like, speaking of fun, like I think it's because this is a game about prejudice, about racism, about like systematic things in this world that affect some people in a very negative way. But still, like, I still wanted there to be fun elements in it, for example. So like, speaking about like getting drunk, I wish we had time to implement that. If you drink too much, for example, you black out and you wake up in the holding cells, for example, like that kind of thing to me is fun. Like building a kind of tough setting with a lot of tough questions, but still you are allowed to be silly in it and sort of build your own story.
Also, you're not allowed to watch this stream if you're under 18.
Sorry, yeah, we're not actually promoting getting drunk.
I'm just joking, but it's fun to get blackout drunk for you.
No,
seriously.
no.
Like, I want to
but
know
that's
more.
why you should also get consequences for it, right? Even if it's positive consequences, then negative consequences.
Jail? Really? Like, are you
It's just
saying
a holding, so you just blacked out on the street and they want to take it. Oh.
Okay, this is
anyway, yeah. We don't have time, I think, to dig into this further, but
this has been episode 1 after the pilot. Episode 1 of About That Code, where we talked about what is fun, and we started to actually open up a conversation that stems more into the idea of what makes a game valuable, what's valuable for you. Can fun be defined easily? Is fun finicky, kind of notion that we can talk about a lot, actually. And next time when we're streaming, we actually want to continue this conversation and to talk about our motto at Valiant. And our motto is...
I don't know if you can see it. Kinda, if you have good eyes. We make meaningful games that promote the underrepresented, that instill hope and favor the journey. And we're going to talk next time about what that actually means.
Yes, and there may or may not be a goat there as well. Super fun, right?
Alright, cool. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much for watching.
Remember to join our Discord if you have any questions for us. We're there pretty much all the time because we don't have a life.
Yes, it is true. It is very true.
So valiant.se/discord and you'll end up on our server.
Discord, baby, one more time. Okay.
Alright, cool. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.